Well, hi everybody, it's Greg from the Atomic Timekeeping Podcast, and today I want to talk about a clock that I just picked up a couple weeks ago at the local Walmart store for about $20. This being current as of the beginning of the year 2016. This one came in a box that identified it under the brand name Mainstays. It's an atomic digital wall clock. I've also seen this on the Walmart website as a Better Homes and Garden brand clock. But I was happy to see that once I took it out of the packaging and looked around on the back of it, it's from LaCrosse Technology. So I've had stuff from them before and I like their stuff. So let's talk about this one and what it does. So first of all, it runs on two AAA batteries. So let's see what happens when we reset it, take out these batteries and start fresh. Let me just insert the battery there. And typical of these radio controlled clocks, this is normally the first thing they'll do, is they'll try to set themselves to the correct time, receiving the signal from WWVB. So it takes a couple of minutes, 3-4 minutes, depending on the reception, where you are, the time of day you're doing it. But usually within a couple of minutes, it will set itself to the right time. And in the interest of speeding things up a little bit, I'll edit out the wait and just we'll skip ahead to the moment when it sets itself to the right time. Okay, as you can see, it took just barely more than 3 minutes to set itself. Now, this is the correct time for the Eastern time zone. I happen to be in the Mountain time zone. So what I'm going to do is reach around here on the back to this button marked Set. Okay, I'll hold that down, and when I hold it down, this is where it's going to allow me to set a lot of different things. First of all, right here, it's asking me if I want the WWVB reception to be on or off. In this case, yeah, I want it to continue to receive atomic time information from WWVB, so I'll leave that on. Then press the set button again, and here is where it allows me to set the time zone. There's the default Eastern time zone. I can go here to this button here, up, and it'll take me to the Mountain time zone, which is my time zone. Now, I could continue to press the set button and it would allow me to choose whether I want daylight saving time to be displayed, so that's an on or off setting. Here I can manually set the time in case it did not receive information from WWVB. I can scroll through using the up or down buttons to adjust the hour, and then here the minutes. I could adjust that, the year, the month, day of the month, and as I adjust the day of the month, you'll see that it spells out the entire word for the day of the week there. Wednesday, let's go, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So that's kind of nice that it spells out that entire word. That's kind of classy. Okay, I'll tap this again, and now I'm back to just normal running mode. Now you'll notice that somewhere in the midst of all that, I changed the display from Fahrenheit to Celsius here on the built-in thermometer. If I want to change that back, it's a very simple, just tapping the set button switches between Fahrenheit and Celsius, just a tap. Whereas holding the set button will get you into the settings mode to set all these things that I just showed you. Now, right now, since I've been fiddling with it, it is no longer displaying the correct time and date. It's off by a little bit here. So what I can do to reactivate the radio receiver is press and hold this button here, this down button, and there you can see the blinking icon indicating that it has once again started to listen to WWVB to try to set itself. This clock doesn't constantly monitor the WWVB radio signal, but a few times a day it will activate the receiver and test itself against the atomic time information that it receives and then correct itself. So that makes it kind of nice. Now, this is very typical of a lot of radio-controlled clocks that will show you the time, the date, and a lot of them will show you the temperature. This being an inside temperature probe, just a temperature probe that's built into the clock. A couple of things that are a little bit unique to this clock compared to a lot of ones that I have is if I go in here to set the time zone, and here it will allow me to choose, okay, there I'm on Mountain Standard Time right now. Now if I go up here, I can go to Pacific Time, but also, look, that's Alaska time, and there's Hawaii time. And if I continue to scroll through, that's the Atlantic time zone. So Nova Scotia for Atlantic time, New York, Eastern time, Chicago, Central time, Mountain time would be Denver, Pacific time, Los Angeles, and then, you know, I've got Alaska and Hawaii. So that's kind of nice because a lot of these radio controlled clocks will only allow you to choose the 4 time zones of the contiguous continental United States, Pacific through Eastern time zone. This adds 3 more time zones. Now, I don't know if this thing is really going to receive WWVB all the way out in Hawaii, but if it does, fine. And another good use of this feature is perhaps you've got a business and you're doing business all over the United States and Canada, including Nova Scotia, including Alaska and Hawaii. Some people may have a wall where they will display several clocks and have just, you know, underneath the clock it'll say the name of the city that's represented by that time zone. So you have some options there if you want to have a display like that. It's just kind of nice. I know a lot of people have said, hey, can you get anything beyond just the 4 standard time zones of the 48 United States? And well, with this one, yes, you can. Now this clock does have an alarm, and you can set the alarm by pressing and holding the alarm button here. And in this case, well, there we are. It's just default midnight. But let's set this up to go off here, you know, in just a few minutes where we are, and let's test out this alarm function. So I'm going to set it to go off at 10 a.m. our time, and let's see what happens when the alarm goes off. Now, even though I just set the alarm a moment ago, I need to tap the alarm button a couple times to scroll through and actually activate that little bell icon there. If the icon is on, then the alarm is active, and if I just tap the set button, it'll take me back to the normal time display. Now the alarm bell is showing there, so the alarm will go off at 10 a.m. in just a moment from now. If I'd rather not have the alarm on, I could just keep tapping that. You know, there, now it's off. Go back to my set button, and now it's not going to go off. But I do want it on, so I'm tapping the alarm button. Okay, there's my icon. All right, now we're going to sit and wait, see what happens at 10 a.m. when the alarm goes off. All right, there's your alarm. It's a crescendo style alarm, so after 10 seconds of beeping once per second, it starts beeping twice per second. And after 10 seconds of beeping twice per second, if that didn't get your attention, then 4 times per second. And if that doesn't get your attention, then it just goes constant like that. And it'll go on for 2 minutes unless, well, you can hit snooze, snooze, and when you hit snooze, you got this little icon here flashing indicating that you're snoozing. The snooze lasts for 10 minutes and then it'll start going again. If you want to stop the alarm, then you just, you know, push the alarm button there. That's one way to stop it. I think you can press any of these buttons except for snooze. The snooze has disappeared, so it's no longer on snooze mode, but with the bell icon there, it is set to go off again at 10 a.m. tomorrow in this mode. Now, I would have to say, if there's a drawback of this clock, as far as the alarm goes, the snooze button is not terribly convenient. If this is by your bedside, you're just waking up all bleary-eyed trying to figure out which one of these buttons you should be pressing. So I know a lot of other clocks maybe have some sort of snooze bar right on the very top, but well, there's your snooze button. So that's perhaps going to be an annoyance for some customers. Another thing that I would say some people might miss is some sort of backlight. This does not have any kind of backlight on the display, so there's no button you can press that'll light this up in the middle of the night. Also, let me just quickly show you the back of the clock. So there you go. This clock has a built-in stand, so you could just fold this out like that, and there you go, perfect for your desk or any kind of tabletop. Or if you want to hang it on the wall, right here you have these little tabs where you can hang a little nail. You'll need 2 little nails for this to go up. Now, that might be an annoyance for some people because you got to measure those nails and get them exactly the right length apart from each other and make sure that it's level. That's not too difficult, but you don't want to put too many holes in the wall trying to get that right. However, I would say just if they only had one in the middle, it might be difficult to make sure that it was always level. So I don't fault them necessarily for having those 2. Just something you need to be careful of if you're going to hang this up. Make sure you're careful about spacing your nails apart and making sure that they're level with each other. So there you go. It's the Mainstays atomic digital wall clock that I found at Walmart, but it's really a LaCrosse Technology clock. It can set itself to the right time using WWVB. So if you're not familiar with how that works, you have to be a little bit cautious about things that might interfere with the radio reception on this clock. If you put it too close to a computer monitor, a TV, electric motor, those sorts of things, they can interfere with the reception. Does best near a window, and near a window that's kind of the closest window towards Colorado, which is where the atomic time transmitter is located. So those are a few things, if you're new to atomic timekeeping, that you need to be careful about with these radio-controlled clocks. Again, it'll set itself a few times a day or double check itself. After a little while, you won't even notice that it's doing that because it's just always going to be on the right time. Also, it can adjust itself automatically for daylight saving time. That's a nice plus for most people, but if you're in an area where you don't have daylight saving time, you can turn off that feature. I like this clock because it is a little bit larger than your standard digital clock that you might have on your desk, but not so large that it would feel unwelcome on a desk in your office. A little bit smaller than if you're looking for a large digital clock. It's a little bit smaller than that. So just kind of that nice in-between size. I put this in the kids' playroom and it's a perfect fit for that spot. Again, a disadvantage in that if you're wanting to use the alarm and the snooze feature, it's not totally convenient because the snooze button is just one of 5 different buttons on the back here. So it might be a little difficult, when you're first waking up, to hit the right button and make that work correctly. But in the kids' room where I have this, the playroom, we don't use the alarm. And again, the other disadvantage is that it doesn't have any kind of built-in backlight. So if you're using it as a bedside alarm clock, maybe not as convenient as the ones that do have those backlights. But to me, that's not a deal breaker because this is a perfect fit for where I put it. And I think it would be a perfect fit on most office desks as well. And I do like the fact that even though I don't go to Alaska and Hawaii and Nova Scotia very often, it has the ability to display those time zones if that's what you need. So $20, I think it's a good deal. You may find it at your local Walmart under, again, the Better Homes and Gardens name or the Mainstays name. And so this clock gets my recommendation and I hope you enjoy it.